we're going to be.
Well, before that, I have a question. Did you guys? I think Ralph knew, but did you hear, Jim, about Wolf?
Yeah, we talked about that. That's the Cuban one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So is that confirmed? That was the guy, right?
That was the guy. I did a little stream about it. It's about 30 minutes. It's on my channel. But in short, what happened is this fucking guy, like, we had completely given up on Wolf. We just said Cuba doesn't have any animal rights laws. You know, even if we did find them, like, they're not going to do anything. Well, this one guy, he detached himself from the spastics that were flinging around shitty fake docs and bad information. He got into contact somehow with the guy's employer, which was a hospital, and he got fired from it. And through them, he got into contact with every animal rights organization in the country of Cuba. And they recognized him from the pictures the guy had found and said, yeah, he's been adopting animals from us. And one of them had a policy of taking pictures. He only adopted from them once because of their policy. But they had a policy of taking a picture of the adoptee with the adopted animal. And one of the picture that just so happened to be from that organization was a little black puppy, which was in the leaks. So we had a picture of the guy we thought was him and the same person holding a puppy, which we independently saw from the leaks. And from there, the animal rights organization started publishing the shit about him, saying that he needs to be locked up. The Cuban Constitution needs to be amended to protect animals. And they said that the police detained him. And the interesting thing about that is there is no law against animal cruelty in Cuba. So what the fuck they detained him on is a complete mystery. But somebody speculated on the Kiwi farms that because of the Fidel Castro era policies on sexual deviancy, what they're probably going to do is declare him criminally insane and keep him locked up and doped up on Thorazine. Basically forever.
Yeah, I can see that. That's so. Are you telling me some fur fake YouTuber is going to get the Cuban Constitution amended because of his degeneracy? Because that's pretty fucking spectacular.
Yes, no, that's what I said. It's like, isn't it funny if this weird autistic Kiwi Farms crusade gets the Cuban Constitution amendment? Because they have this thing where they're renewing it. And they're looking what to do and change in it. And the groups are like, this is a clear call that we need to amend the Constitution to protect animals.
What if they hang him? Will you make that a banner on your website?
Oh, yeah, I'll put it up there.
And I'll be right back.
I just don't think we'll ever know what happened to him. I think he's gone. I don't think there will be any more news about him. If they put him in like a criminal detention center, or if they keep him doped up like a zombie in a mental ward in Cuba, I don't think we'll ever hear about it. Though the interesting thing is the groups looked at the pictures and they said, it's clear that a second person is taking these pictures. They're not mounted on a table or anything. So now the hunt is on to figure out who his friend was, and they're looking for him too.
Well, I know the snake thing guy got let go. Do you think that...
He's not let go. He's out of prison right now because the DA is dropping those charges to arraign him on different, more sweeping charges. Because they have all this information, and they only arrested him on certain animal abuse charges, but now they want to get him on child endangerment as well. So he's out for right now.
That was the one that kept talking about his nephew, right?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that guy. So, yeah, that's interesting. I was going to say, do you think the Cuban officials, if they're going to go after this guy for whatever law they're going to throw at him, like, they don't have the same hang-ups that a lot of European or, North American countries would have. So they can kind of dig through everything, right? They don't really need to fuck around with courts. They could just look at everything. Do you think if they get a lot of damning information, they're going to send it to other countries?
Oh God, who knows? I mean, wouldn't it be funny? Just saying, if this thawed U.S.-Cuban relations, like we gotta get these dog fuckers, America, Trump, come over here and look at this shit. We need to get them.
Well, yeah, because I was talking about when we were talking about TikTok earlier, like that website fucking hates furries. Like I'm kind of amazed by the amount of younger teenagers that fucking hate furries. Like, it's surprising to me that it's just built up to a crescendo.
They're all conservative as fuck. They're so angry and they're so prejudiced, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's some funny shit that's going on that website. But watching this unfold, I hope Kiro gets just fucked. I hope they find something that's just extra dirty on that asshole.
Well, speaking of, because Kiro is really fucking popular on YouTube. Guess what popular YouTuber got in contact with me?
Shane Dawson? Wasn't that the guy that interviewed him? Was that who?
No, in my little stream, I said, look, the entire fandom is guilty of this shit. The entire fandom, in some way, supports, condones, or overlooks animal abuse in their community. And I pulled out that quote from yourmoviesucks.org and Adam Johnson saying that animals can consent with body language to sex. And I read that, and he left a fucking comment on this video.
Saying what?
Let me pull it up real quick. It's,
I got
oh, you already have it? Okay.
Yeah,
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. By the way, he's using the little green text arrow here. Getting so triggered over an opinion you disagree with that getting so triggered over an opinion you disagree with that you lump them in with pedophiles and animal abusers. Then he goes on with his own quote. That's some SJW level shit if I've ever seen it. I'm sorry you dislike my opinions on moral philosophy, but treating this as anything more than that is just nonsense. I don't see it as any different than my opinion on abortion, assisted suicide, or drug legalization. This is animal fucking he's talking about, by the way. Each of those topics have huge moral implications associated with them, but obviously no one's obsessing about any of those because this is all about trying to paint me as some sort of animal abuser. Sorry to break it to you, but I don't own a dog and I have no interest in fucking real animals. The anthro animals I'm attracted to are lions anyway. So good luck trying to convince people I fuck those. Anyway, this is just retarded. I obviously condemn the actions of animal abusers featured in this video. It's disgusting. Attempting to lump me in with them because you're upset over my wrong think is disgusting too, though.
And my response to that is, my response is longer than his. But I just said, it's like, you can paint this however you want, but it was an indefensible statement. And the fact that you want to die on this hill is kind of weird. It's not normal to people who even really like you. And I really like your content, but you should just take a fucking loss and say that this isn't acceptable. And the fact he keeps defending it, like, I'm not trying to falsely conflate him with an animal abuser. An animal cannot consent to sex with a person, period. And even if they do, it fucks up the relationship between the animal and the person. You're supposed to be taking care of them.
Even if they do.
I'm saying hypothetically, even if an animal could consent, what happens is it changes the relationship dynamics between the animals. And I looked this up. I was curious. If you fuck a dog, the dog tries to take care of you, and it can't because it's a stupid dog. So it gives them like trauma and anxiety because they want to try to take care of you because now you're like their bitch.
I think you dove
and
a
it
little
fucks
bit
them
too
up.
deep into this shit.
I'm just saying that's the situation. Okay, don't fuck your dogs. It'll give them anxiety.
but it's the corollary. Even if they could give consent, from there on, I think that you should have just axed that part of your argument. But okay, be that.
I'm leaving it in there because when I talk to these people, I want to give them something that they're going to care about. They're not going to care about decency, but they will care that they're fucking up their dog and giving them trauma. just a thought. It's just my experience. It works.
The whole issue of fucking animals.
You know what? Actually, I wanted to ask because I was going to have you on my stream to talk about this, but since you're here, what's the fucking story with the people that run a lot of these furry sites? Was it Dragoneer? You said you had a lot of fucking background information on him.
I don't have it. I haven't read up on it, but I just know from what people have told me that he is a continuous spastic. Like the reason why Fur Affinity is in such a dilapidated condition, it's been hacked a bunch of times, is that he's making tons of fucking money, but he's just up to degenerate shit and he's not taking care of his shit. There's one guy, somebody corrected me. They said it wasn't Inked Bunny, it was Inked Fur, but it's a commission site, and the guy who runs that is a convicted sex offender against children. The guy Varka, and Varka is very important because he owns not only Bad Dragon, he owns E621, which is the largest furry pornography site in the world. And allegedly, Varka's former business partners were convicted of animal abuse, sexual animal abuse. So all these fucking people are fucking animals. They're either pedophiles or they're zoophiles or they're both at the same time. And the community that's what I mentioned to Adam. I say, like, look, you're one of the most popular furries in the world, and all the leaders in the furry community seem to be implicit in animal sex abuse. So how can you say that it's not fair to paint all furries with that brush when the most visible people in the community seem to be actively engaged in it? And I've had multiple stories. Somebody even posted a comment on the video, and I'll pull that up real quick. But he says that he's encountered those petting zoos at conventions. So it's not just a couple fucking people, a couple stories. It is a continuous, ongoing thing that's been happening for years. And I used to go to Necronomicon, a convention in Tampa, Florida. I even volunteered a couple years. I accidentally found out about a petting zoo some of these fuckers had set up. I reported it to some people at the con and was told thanks, and they would take care of it. Less than half an hour later, I was being escorted out of the hotel and banned from the convention. So I called the actual police, and by the time they got there, the room was cleaned out. So these conventions cover for this shit. And I mean, even if you're just a regular person, irregular besides being a furry, and you go to these conventions and you just like the art, you genuinely just like safe for work animal art. By going to these conventions, paying the entrance fee, supporting these creators, you are indulging in this economy of animal sex abuse. And I have no patience for it. I don't care what you're into. If you consider yourself a furry, if you put money into it, you are complicit. And I think you should fuck off and stop moralizing and saying, "Oh, it's not all furries. You're being overzealous." No, I'm not. It's all of them in some way or another. You are a part of it.
Well, and I'm judging it from like how we deal with them over here. Coach, I'm kind of curious. How do they deal with degenerates here in the Ukraine? You said.
Yeah, they shoot.
If there were a bunch, like if this happened in the
Shoot
Ukraine,
'em.
with some guy killing puppies and fucking their skulls, what would they do to him?
I don't know, but I don't think he'd take kindly to it. I mean,
You probably get the necklace.
yeah, who knows?